In the digital world, how do you actually get people to play fair, especially when they're complete strangers? Well, today we're going to look at a really fascinating solution to that problem, a special purpose digital token called XNY. We're going to break down exactly what it is, how it works, and most importantly, why it's designed to build trust right into its code. But yeah, let's really dig into that for a second. Think about any online marketplace. You're buying something, you're hiring a freelancer, you're basically interacting with people you've never met. So how do you guarantee you're going to get what you paid for? How do you make sure everybody actually plays by the rules? That is the absolute core problem, and the solution we're exploring today is pretty unique. It's not just about star ratings or customer reviews. Instead, it tries to build that trust directly into the system's currency itself. All right, so let's get into it. To really understand this token, we first have to understand the world it was built for, and that world is a platform called Coda. So what is Codatta? Well, the official description is a decentralized knowledge protocol powering a human intelligence marketplace. Okay, that's a mouthful. In plain English, just think of it as a marketplace for jobs that need a real person, like data collection or research. But here's the key. It's built to run without a single company calling all the shots. It's community run, so there's no central point of failure. And just like any economy, this digital marketplace needs its own official currency to make everything run smoothly. And that currency, that's the XNY token. Probably the easiest way to wrap your head around this is to imagine Codatta as a kind of specialized digital city. Sure, you can visit, you can look around, but if you want to actually do business there, open a shop, post a job, make a real transaction, you have to use the city's official currency. And in this particular city, that currency is XNY. Okay, so every city has its people, right? Its citizens. And to understand how the money in this city works, we've got to first meet the key players and figure out what it is they're all trying to do. Turns out there are 4 key players here. First up, you've got the clients. They're the ones who need work done, and they use XNY to post those jobs. Then you have the providers. These are the people actually doing the work to earn rewards. To make sure that work is good, you have validators, who check everything for quality. And finally, you've got backers, who kind of act like investors, helping to fund different projects. Each one uses XNY for something a little different, but absolutely essential. All right, so we've met the players. Now let's talk about the rules of the game. What are the specific jobs inside this digital city that only the XNY token is allowed to do? It really all boils down to 3 core functions. Just think of them as access, trust, and rights. XNY is the key that gets you access to services. It's the security deposit that builds trust, and it's the tool you use to manage ownership or rights. Let's say that again. Access, trust, and rights. Burn those 3 words into your brain. Let's start with trust, because honestly, that's the big one. And trust is built through a process called staking. Now, staking is really just a fancy word for putting down a security deposit. People lock up some of their dollar XNY tokens as a promise, like putting money down to say, hey, I promise I'm going to deliver high-quality work. So this security deposit can go one of 2 ways. If you do good work, you get your deposit back, and usually a bonus on top. Simple. But if you submit sloppy work or you try to cheat the system, your stake gets slashed, which means you lose it. Gone. This creates a really powerful financial reason for everyone to be honest and do their best work. Okay, next up is access. Let's put ourselves in the client's shoes. To even list a job on the platform, you've got to pay a small fee in XNY. Want your job to jump to the front of the line so people see it first? You pay a little more XNY. And then, when the work is all done, the final key to actually unlock and receive that data is, you guessed it, XNY. It's needed at pretty much every single step. So you see, it's not just one thing. It's not optional. XNY is literally woven into the fabric of the entire network. It's used for the fees to launch tasks, for that whole staking and slashing system we just talked about, for accessing data, for managing ownership, and even for voting on where the platform goes next. It's the operational fuel for the whole machine. So this all leads to the big question that I'm sure is on your mind right now. If the goal is to get work done and pay people for it, why not just use regular money? Like dollars. Or even another crypto like Bitcoin. Let's just tackle that head on. Is it possible for the workers, the providers, to actually get their payout in a currency they might be more familiar with? And the answer is yes. The payouts can actually be flexible. Workers can choose to get paid in things like stablecoins or even Bitcoin. But, and this is a huge but, the core functions of the platform, the things that make it all work, The parts that guarantee trust and quality, those must use XNY. That's because the token has those special rules, like slashing, built right into it. So, okay, why do that? Why the split? Why keep X and Y at the absolute heart of the system if the final payments can be in something else? Well, the answer really gets to the core of the system's design. It's about control and having a very specific tool for a specific job. Dollars and Bitcoin are great for one thing, payment. But X and Y is what gives the network its teeth, its ability to enforce rules automatically. As the source material says, XNY retains its core role as the access, trust, and rights currency of the ecosystem. A regular currency just can't do that. Okay, let's pull back for a second and just recap the big picture here. When all is said and done, what are the main things you should really take away from all this? So what's the big takeaway? The thing to remember is that the XNY token isn't just money. It's a purpose-built multi-tool for this digital city. It grants access. It's the key to unlock services. It builds trust, acting as a security bond for good behavior. It manages rights, the tool for ownership and royalties. And it even provides governance, the power to vote on the future. It's the engine, the rulebook, and the currency, all rolled into one. And that really leaves us with one final pretty big thought. We've just looked deep inside one very specific digital city. But as more and more of our work, our data, and our communities move online, are we gonna see more of this? Will every specialized digital economy eventually need its own unique, custom-built currency to function and to build trust? Definitely something to think about.